Meeting with Lloyd. Lloyd invited me for breakfast, and I was telling him, man, I still have an idea for the entertainment industry. This is what I wanted to do. He was like, all right, I got Startup on the Blocks. So I need you to start coming to Startup on the Blocks and get a little more information on how to work through the tech ecosystem and take your idea and we'll get you where you need to go. My company is called The Know, is an app that is streamlining business for the entertainment industry. Yeah, so if you're a musician, what you would do is pretty much jump on the platform, you'll create a profile, but the way we created the profile is pretty much a cleaner way. So now if they want more information about you, you'll connect your social media platforms, your streaming platforms, and that way they can go directly to it. What we also have included is your calendar. So pretty much you can set your days, you can set your price for your days and automate your booking. So initially talking to Lloyd, my idea was all here, it was there, it was over here, it was over there. It was like, all right, Quinn, I get it. You got a lot that you want to do, but we need you to bring it in just a little bit and then work on your pitch, your story, and how you're going to bring it full circle to get people to understand what you're trying to create.
Most of the programs here wasn't inclusive, and so we said we'll focus on helping founders of color. We also start at the beginning of the thing, at the idea stage, whereas a lot of the programs you see here locally, they start after you're up, and that's not very efficient unless if you don't have a lot of money, you can't recover from your mistakes. And the lean startup system, it actually helps you make mistakes faster before you spend a lot of money. You don't actually start building anything until you got customer buy-in.
There was a need for small businesses to bring brand awareness to their business. I see there's a lot of makers and bakers that they're making all of these goodies and these products, but they can't market it, they can't sell it at the same time, and there needs to be kind of like that middleman, that middle person to help bring economic growth to some of the small businesses in Pensacola. So Taste of Pensacola, I came up with that idea during the pandemic when I saw things at that time that Amazon couldn't fulfill. They didn't even have those products, but the local people in the community, they did. And so there was a ton of people coming out saying, hey, I make masks. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. All the local people here that are just as talented that can actually make those products. And so I wanted to kind of showcase who they were. So with Taste of Pensacola, our income streams, we have several of them. We have the corporate America, we do corporate gifting, just regular consumers, different Pensacola natives that don't live here that want to purchase our boxes, like a taste of weddings, distribution. So we also do bulk sales. So for a private airline, if they want some local snacks and goodies on their passenger flights, they will come to Taste of Pensacola and we will source their vendors here locally, and we'll give a small business owner an opportunity to have reoccurring monthly sales. I've always had a really big vision for Taste of Pensacola. I knew that it could go beyond just local. I know that maybe other communities could possibly use the same platform that I'm trying to build. And I always have these big visions, but I never know how to even get there. Where do I start? I know it's more than, there's a lot of technical things behind it. I know there's a lot of research, but that connection, I never had it until, thankfully, I met and was introduced to Startups on the Blocks and was able to just learn more about how to grow it in terms of data. Things I just never thought about, framework, words like traction. There's a lot of things that I just did not know about and language that I need to know in order to get funding for my business. There's just a lot that I didn't know.
I would go to the stores and look online. They didn't have a wide variety of natural hair products about 8 years ago. And the ones that they did have, the ingredients, it would say that they were all natural. And when I would research the ingredients, a lot of the ingredients were not natural. I make everything, my shampoo, conditioner, I have an oil that I make, and I have 2 different separate butters. Like I had some people who were completely bald and grew their hair. It's about giving women their confidence back in their hair. I have this salon and then I have a second salon, and I have my products in about 5 beauty supply stores. So I need a manufacturer to keep up with the demand at this point. Startup on the Blocks has helped my business grow. Send me to different people. I'm able to do different pitch competitions to apply for grants in the community for small businesses. Lloyd's a really good person to connect with. He has a lot of resources here in the community that can help small businesses grow. If you have a product out there and you're trying to go big time, he's the person that you would want to meet with.
So it's really important to have some type of support because 9 times out of 10, most founders start out on their own. And to have somebody that has an idea of how the ecosystem works and is able to tap into other resources and bring back to the community, and that pretty much has encountered some of the roadblocks or going through the same roadblocks that we're currently going through and understands where you're at, your culture and how you respond to things, is a big help, because you don't really have too many people that have access to what we have access to here in the community. And a lot of people believe that you have to leave and go to bigger cities to do the things that we're doing here. But I mean, it's one thing to have exposure, but you have to actually know it's here in the community in order to take advantage of the resources. So I get approached and I talk to friends all the time that wants to either start an idea or hear that I'm actually doing the app and wants to know more information about how are you doing it, or what's the process, what's the path. I'm like, man, we have somebody here, Start Up on the Blocks, Lloyd Richard. And Lloyd is here, he's a great resource to the community and to founders that's trying to learn the ecosystem. So join.
Hello, how are you? How are you, Dentrell? Can you hear me? Yeah. Yeah, you still on mute there? Yeah. Welcome, everyone. We're kicking off 2023, and we are fantastic. Glad to have you here, especially, we want to get this new year kicked off really, really well. And so it's always good to have founders to share their story. Yes. Definitely. And Dentrell, I'm going to, while I'm getting the presentation up, would you go ahead and just do a little short introduction for yourself?
Yeah, sure. So how you doing? And shout out to everybody and that's in the room, and excited to be here tonight. It was great talking to you earlier. Yeah. My name is Dentrell Felton. I work for Miami-Dade College as the blockchain and Web3 specialist, which really entails just helping the students learn more about Web3 technology. I use some of my prior knowledge from working in the electrical industry to teach them how to create products that companies will be excited about first. So, we have a lot of promising things with the metaverse, and some of these things are 10, 15 years off. So I try to focus on products they will use in the next 2 years or the next 5 years.
Fantastic. I'll go ahead and get the screen shared here. Yes, so first order of business here, we want to let our sponsors know we appreciate their support. We're in a new year, and we're definitely looking for all our sponsors to come back and support what we're doing. Florida Power and Light is one of our main sponsors, and also the Innisfree Hotels. And so we definitely excited about that, but we're also excited about our partnership with Startup Science. They are a really good partner, and we have some good founder training through them. The First Bank, they help sponsor our pitch competitions as well. And both of our local chambers support what we're doing, as well as the Small Business Development Center and the CoLab here locally. So we're excited to have that support from them. And so, Dentrell, it's I really appreciate you coming on tonight. We're looking forward to the conversation. We had our founders of color launch program demo day back on the 22nd of last year, but some of our founders were out of town traveling for Christmas, and so they so we're going to give them a chance to come back and present their startup as well. Yes. Alrighty. So let's see here. Carmen just texted me, Dentrell. He's trying to find the link, and I actually texted to him already. But I'm trying to think how to get it to him, but I won't worry about it right now. I also sent him an email, so he should have it. Just need to look.
I think he'll figure it out.
Yeah, but so founders, are, it's interesting being a founder. Trying to figure out what to do and what the best path to go down. And so what happens with a lot of founders, they actually struggle because they don't know there is a proven methodology to kind of get to a plan that works. And so what we try to do is try to help founders understand what that follow the methodology before they actually run out of money
Right,
and
right.
get to that thing. So I got a couple of charts that kind of illustrate that. So typically, if a founder can get started and they can get to this product market fit milestone, they can get off and running. But what happens a lot of times is the founders run out of money before they get to product market fit because they're not following the proven methodology. And so the so when you can get through this maze of things you need to do, by following the lean startup methodology, and you can stay on track on your founder's journey. And so that's what we're here for, is to help founders get to that point of product market fit, and so they can start scaling. Yes. So so this is one of the key first steps is that founder's mindset. And so what we try to help founders understand, if you get the proper mindset, uh, and learn the best practices, and develop the skills for building a startup, then you can unlock the resources in the ecosystem out here. So it starts with the founder, and getting understanding what it is to be a founder, learning the skills and best practices, how to pitch how you make money with your idea, how to answer the questions that the accelerator programs, the judges have, and then if you learn how to do that, you can fill out applications for programs, and get funding, get in-kind services. Um, uh, Earlier this week, I was looking at we had the Coda.io on here, and they have a program for founders. It's only $1,000, but it's enough credit to get you using you can use their software for doing all your back office stuff, and even prototype your startup idea. And so it only takes 2 minutes to fill out their application, and you can unlock that $1,000, and you can set up your whole back office uh, for your startup using that software. But the questions they ask on the application, they want for them, they want you to have a crunch based profile. So we tell people to have a F6S profile, but you should also, in all those startup things, you should have it out there. And then they want to know your LinkedIn profile, and they also want you to provide evidence that you're working on your startup. So today you sent me a picture of you winning a pitch competition. So
Right,
you
right.
can literally upload that to the application to verify that you are a startup founder and you're out there working. And in 2 minutes, you can get approval to get this free software.
Yeah, and
And
it's needed. It's me trying to dabble with Crunchbase and trying to figure it all out. It's a lot to take in when you first starting. So, but it's so
yeah,
many resources like this.
yeah. And so like when you apply for like next month, Florida Power and Light is going to kick off the application for that 35 Muse program down in South Florida. And so they give $100,000 grant. But if you can't articulate your how you make money with your idea, you can't your application is not going to look good.
Exactly, that's true.
Yeah, and so that's what this chart is for. Is trying to say you have to develop the right mindset. Build something that scales. At least 10x, and then learn the best practices. We have the programs and the training to help you do that, and then you can unlock all these things that are out there in the ecosystem. And so I've got 3 charts here to show you kind of what the journey of a startup founder is. So you start pitching your idea before you even create a business,
Right, right.
and you just go through these phases, and at each phase you actually, there are programs out there that can help fund the activities that you're doing to build your product or service. So here's another look at it from the Lean Stack and the Lean Startup methodology. And so you start off with the mindset training, the business model design training, and just keep going through these phases, trying to get the product market fit. Okay, and then here's another look at the same process. So you start off with a vision. That's like the idea stage, and then you go through all these different phases to get to an exit. And so that's what we're here for, to provide you the training to help you understand all the things that you need to know to get through there. And I think this is kind of for Black and brown founders. Um, to have access to these resources is it's pretty amazing, and so that's what we're here for, to kind of get you to the next level. So
Awesome. I'm still here. I was just having a little issue with the battery, but I'm hanging in there with you.
okay, all right, yeah, okay, no problem whatsoever. We'll keep the ball rolling here, and worst case, we'll have you talk.
Right. So we'll figure it out. That's the thing. We got to iterate, right?
Yeah. So so this is kind of what the playbook we suggest, and literally, if you follow this playbook, and maybe we should add Crunchbase or something on here too, in addition to the F success. But if you follow this process, you will unlock those resources out there, and just by filling out an application, and that we want to get you connected to that stuff, and this is all these skills and best practices, here in the middle, you over here on the left, and then we try to teach you the stuff so you can actually get in a lot of these programs out there. There's so many programs out there. It's pretty fantastic. So it doesn't matter what stage you are, you can get to the next level. So Dantrell is down there in Miami. And what I learned back in 2017 in Miami, one of the nonprofits down there, they work with startup founders and startups that are making $5 to $10 million a year, and they help them get to the next level of making $100 million a year. So it doesn't matter how successful you are. It's a journey, and you want to keep flowing on that journey. And of course, we got mentors to kind of help you on the journey. So that's kind of what we do here at Startup on the Blocks, and so that's what's important for actually moving forward. So what do you think, Dantrell? You got it.
I think it's an awesome program. You're very knowledgeable. I love the conversation we had again earlier.
Yes.
It's kind of a full circle move, because the company I worked for the 17 years was Florida Power and Light. So a lot of what I learned in Six Sigma and about how to work in a company, in a Fortune 500 company, I learned from there. So I'm actually now just applying the knowledge that I got from there, and it's good to see them so active in the ecosystem, and they're doing a lot of great.
Yes, that's exactly right. Yeah, so I'll let you go ahead and tell us a little bit about your journey, from like high school, and kind of how you got going on your career, and how you got with the startup stuff here. I'll let you talk about that a little while, and I'm going to go can I send Carmen the right link here?
Yeah, let's save Carmen. I know he needs it right now.
All right, you go right ahead and just kind of talk for a few minutes for me.
Yep, no problem. So pretty much like I alluded to earlier, I started working with Florida Power and Light for their high school program when I was 16. This was 2005. And it was a great apprenticeship program that allowed us to come in and learn all the skills needed to become linemen. And it was overhead linemen at the time. And they taught us all the prerequisites and just got us ready to be hired. So, right after graduation, 2 weeks later, they hired us, started us off with a beautiful career as apprentices. Since then, I transitioned to, their meters department. I got some experience with customer service. My last apprenticeship with Florida Power and Light was with their underground power line. I was training to be a splicer. Unfortunately, I was involved in a a little accident, and it allowed me to, well, it didn't allow me to further on with my career because of the physical aspects of it, unfortunately. But during the pandemic, I was able to utilize some of my technical trading skills and my love of technical analysis to keep me afloat while I figured things out. And I had some fun with that on Clubhouse and Twitter, and it's helped a lot of our people just understand how it works and how to make some money in this. And from there, got into Bitcoin, got in when it was 10,000, and I said, you know what, this is looking like a breakout. Let me just throw a couple of dollars over there, and I made some money from there between there and 20,000. When it broke 20,000, I said, oh man, I think this is the move. So I actively traded all the way up to about 57,000, and that was fun, and just applying that knowledge and just being able to teach people things that we usually don't come across, and things that I wish that I could have came across later. Sorry if I'm looking to the side a little bit. My laptop's to the side, but
no problem.
Well, me understanding that the fundamental part of trading is definitely important. So I said, let me figure out how to apply that to what I'm doing with crypto, and I started stumbling across the white papers and the use cases. And I went to Emerge, which was my first conference, and man, I was just wowed when I seen how they were using this technology. And
what year did you go to Emerge?
So 2021, I was invited by the school,
Okay.
and just got in and seeing not just the art use cases, but some physical use cases, some industrial use cases. And I said, man, this is right up my alley. You can do anything with this. And I've always had so many ideas and love to be a problem solver. So yeah, I just jumped in head first, and started competing in hackathons. No technical background. And when I say no technical background, I have issues sending emails. So no technical background, twiddling around with Zooms, but my passion for problem solving and my obsessive gaming experience as a kid helped me come on with a little bit of programming knowledge and provide help to a team and competing in the startup. I mean, not in a startup, but in a hackathon, my first hackathon.
Okay.
Got some success there, and then went on and competed in Mayor Suarez's Venture Miami hackathon. And I actually ended up winning first prize with my CTO, Chisholm. I wish he could be here. This was a little short notice, but shout out to him. He's my CTO and co-founder, and he has a computer science degree from UCF. So we just click very well, just kind of like one of those Steve Jobs, Wozniak type of relationships.
Yeah. So tell us about how you all met and how you sold him on being a co-founder.
Well, so we met at the first hackathon, which was an Activate
Okay.
hackathon, and I think we were I was one of 4 black guys there.
Okay.
So we just started talking, and we actually live in the same area. We actually live pretty close to each other. He's just younger than I am.
Okay.
So and we had some mutual friends, and we just talked about what we wanted to do with this, and we hacked on that first team, and we won in a Solana bounty for creating a metaverse game. And we said, hey, well, if we won that amount of money just coming up with a game off the cuff, and let's see what else we can do with this. And I said, hey, I got a very strong background in the electrical industry, and I've been a union steward for years, and I kind of know how these processes work and what they look for. So let's try to do some workforce or enterprise apps. And
Okay.
that led us to doing creating Notary, and it just it kind of stole the show. It was kind of one of those ideas where I'm like, I know this is needed, but the reception of it was so great. It just started to grow its own legs, and we
Yeah.
won that.
So what's the relationship to Notary and your background?
So in the electrical industry, we carry a lot of certifications, and we literally test all year. Recertify for certain things, CPR, forklift. If you become a splicer, that's a ticket that's accepted internationally from reputable companies. So that's something that you hold dear to you.
Okay.
But usually with linemen traveling and moving in and out of companies so much, you want to make sure you keep all your documents. So I always knew how that was a headache.
Okay.
And being a union steward, I understood how important it was to keep everybody in compliance because OSHA fines aren't anything to play with. And the company hates them because they're not usually $10,000 fines. They're not $15,000 fines. They're upwards 30 to 50,000, depending on what you're violating. So I understood the importance of managing that. And
Hmm.
I saw with NFTs, we could certify and find a way to make sure everybody is identified in the process. And not only could we do that, but we can use time triggers, of course, to keep up with all of the expiration dates and kind of give the company a better chance to strategize. So that was the angle for the company. And then, for the customer, I left the company with a whole bunch of intercompany skills
Okay.
that I couldn't prove outside. It was almost like my resume looked so good, I wouldn't believe it, because of the movement inside of the company. So like, how would I verify this? How would I prove that I have all these skills?
Yeah.
So now the wallet, while they're maintaining your credentials, you're keeping a version of it on your personal wallet to further prove if you ever wanted to change companies or apply for another position that you've done some of these things. And
Gotcha.
then that opens up a broader thing to where you can now shop yourself and kind of win more jobs off of meritocracy instead
Yeah.
of
I, I I remember the stuff about the blockchain, how you can verify data and stuff, but I wasn't. I'm not sure how the NFTs come in there, but you're leveraging NF like are the certificates or whatever you got that you mint them as NFTs or something, or what are you talking about there?
Yeah, so we just simply, keep track of a JPEG or PDF as the representation of what the document is,
Okay.
and NFTs it's just a unique token, and
Okay.
what we're able to do is leverage, just the ENS naming system and who's sending what to who, and then we have our special way of keeping track of it and how we collect, the data. We're trying to aggregate it to see what kind of employee, you know, you're on the track of being. So you may have been in a position A for your whole career, but based on your history, you might be hireable for position C in another industry that would pay you a lot more. And now these people can find you based off your track record. So
Okay.
the NFTs allow us to, for you to have able to keep, so you can have a version you can keep to
Okay.
show around. But if a recruiter wanted to verify if you have these skills, they would be able to quickly see the company that issued it to you, and if their standards match, it's a no-brainer, for the recruiting company.
Yeah. Well, I think what you're, based on your career work history, so like I guess I need to make sure we figure out. Um, so you had this expert knowledge, but what triggered, was it the participate in the hackathon that gave you the idea to go back and do something with that?
Yeah, I seen. Well, I've read Malcolm Gladwell's book. I think it was The Tipping Point, when he talked about Steve Jobs and Bill Gates and how they were in a perfect position to become who they were based on where they live, the resources in the community, the college. And he kind of harped on that was a once in a lifetime opportunity for those two individuals to create the massive success because they had such a head start, which was a little disheartening, but it was understandable at the time. So keeping that in my mind, kind of, and maybe keeping it as a chip on my shoulder, when I seen the opportunity that we're on the cusp of this technology and you can essentially create whatever you want to create, I said, this is the second coming of those type of opportunities, and there's less barriers in front of people. So it got me extremely excited. And while I was at FPL the whole time, I would just, solve problems. So like my role was to be kind of like a construction foreman a little bit. I
Okay.
wasn't
Hmm.
exactly the foreman, but I was really good with all the machinery and helping the foreman map out the jobs because I had so much experience in time. So they just kind of created roles for me to just go solve problems. They used to call me like kind of like their black ops, not in that way, but
Yeah, I
just
got
like,
it.
there's a problem to solve and there's no problem, there's no answer to it. We'll send him and he'll
Yeah,
understand
that's a
what
that's a
management needs and what the labor side needs.
Yeah, that's a actually good skill. But I guess typically, in the government, the union people are kind of hated by management. But it sounds like you had a good relationship with management. Of being a part of the union stuff there as well.
Yeah,
Because
not always. Not always, not always. I was one of the public enemies for a while because I was young and I didn't understand my direction and I wanted to be able to prove myself and I had these vast ideas, but my first apprenticeship I wasn't able to complete, so it always had me with that chip on my shoulder to want to, add value and add value, and I just kept trying to add value. So it kind of
yeah,
created, that environment.
yeah, and I want to reiterate there are a lot of people out there that see problems on their jobs and they don't realize there's an opportunity that you can turn that into a startup. Uh, uh,
Exactly.
yeah, and then so in your case, you wasn't a technical person, and so but by participating in the hackathon, you actually found a co-founder. But did you so did you, did you all have a good business model when he decided to become a co-founder, or he just was just excited just to so what really sold him, I guess, is what I'm asking.
No, we just fit well. Somebody has to be the mouth, and
Yeah.
then I'm the extrovert. He's the introvert. He has the technical skills. We speak the same language, so when we're trying to work our way through problems, we both understand. We have a nice balance and respect each other's opinions. So
Okay.
and I think we just respected each other for what for him to be so young and accomplished and driven. I love working with people like that, and I think he just understood where my mind was and how I kind of just have I have one of those brains so I can kind of touch everything moving and create the connections. So we knew we would have this great bond where we can just create products, and that's what we focus on, creating products.
Okay.
Not the
Okay.
typical startup journey of trying to marry the company, but create products for these industries.
Gotcha. And so did he have any startup type experience? Uh, is this his first startup he's working with?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
He was definitely more knowledgeable as far as the blockchain, how blockchain worked,
Okay.
and how the community worked. He's already a developer. He understand. I think he writes some Rust, Solidity. He's familiar with different NFT platforms. So it was just also me coming up with, like, I focus on the problem, and
Yeah.
then I learned the basics of programming. So the if then statements, and I
Yeah.
said, well, can we frame this like this? And then he comes with all the technical assistance and then
Okay.
kind of makes the idea flourish.
Yeah. And so you mentioned and when we were talking earlier and that the hackathons. So there you all were actually using no code applications to actually do the hackathons.
No, so the no code hackathons are it's an organization we're working with now. We're working with Bit. It's called Blue Collar to Blockchain. So we're developing it based on our experiences from hackathons. So my first hackathon, I can actually admit that it was a little intimidating because I didn't have any technical background.
Hmm.
But when I saw the bounties, I just had amazing ideas of what I can do with them. So
Hmm.
luckily, we met and it was a great relationship. But I said, a lot of people are missing out on this opportunity who have these minds and that are visionaries and can
Hmm.
speak the language, but they're going to be, kind of kicking the can down the street, trying to figure out where do they land with coding. Should they learn JavaScript? Should they learn Python? When you
Gotcha.
should just learn enough to be able to communicate it to your team and then grow from there.
Yeah. So what I want to make sure I'm clear on, you the hackathons that you participate in, was any of those no code hackathon? They were all
Nope.
they were you all you end up working. So did you all meet at the hackathon or before the hackathon? I guess that's I guess another way to ask the question.
Yeah. So at Activate Wormhole, which was at Miami-Dade College, we met there. We
Hmm.
teamed up with a young lady from she's from London, and this
Hmm.
was her idea. And we just came on her team. She was so gracious to and invite us to be on her team. You know, she kind
Okay.
of felt that, hey, these guys are just kind of sitting off to the side. Let me just introduce myself.
Okay.
And, you know, it was more of a tag along type of thing. He knew how to code already.
Okay.
And I said, hey, I just want to learn. So if there's anything I can help with, or I can be a researcher, I'm really good at
Okay.
research. And once I figured out it was a game and game mechanics, I said, well, I know how the game mechanics work. Like,
Yeah.
you lock in on the game, you know, so.
Gotcha. So, so now you, from your experiences in winning the hackathons with your team, you want to create hackathons leveraging no code. Is that what you're basically
Yes.
saying?
Yeah, I want to create not just hackathons, but the whole competition level of, you know, just hackathons. What you need to kind of earn your keep as a startup and as a
Okay.
founder. I wanted to introduce it in a way that I know it would be digestible for our people. You know,
Okay.
I know how I felt stepping in those doors, and you know, and I feel like I have a lot of confidence. So if I felt that way, I know a lot of people are just walking by and missing the opportunity. So I said, well,
Gotcha.
let's lower the barrier. Let's remove coding as the element. We've
Okay.
all you know, did some low code for social media, you know, for the majority of our lives at this point, if you're 30 or 35.
Okay.
So I said, let's leverage that and just get them, you know, feeling comfortable putting together an idea, going through the ideation stage,
Mhm.
making sure that it solves a problem and focusing on that. And then we'll also provide the resources after for you to figure out, you know, should you go in Python? Should you go in Java? Which blockchain makes sense for you if you're in blockchain, or which industry makes sense for the best idea? I think after that, once you get the ball rolling, people will have the confidence to, you know, to come and compete in this. You know, some life-changing bounties up for grabs, not just the bounties, but like grants you mentioned that can get you stable and focused on your idea. And if it's really a really good idea, it can be life-changing for you and create more jobs for our communities.
Yes. So for the founders out there, feel free to go ahead and ask questions, you know, about what we're talking about, or about your questions that you have as a founder, whether it relates to what we're talking about or not. But what you, in addition to your startup, you want to also get other founders into this startup ecosystem, and you want to use hackathons with no code applications that have, you know, bounties or funding associated with them, to help more people understand that if they have an idea, you don't have to be a tech person. You can literally use this no code application to prototype your idea, you know, get like a minimum viable product or something. Is that kind of what you're trying to do?
Yeah, and I want to leverage things that we're familiar with. So the competition element, like I can
Mm-hmm.
honestly say from the wins, I hadn't felt that type of you know, joy or accomplishment
Yeah,
since I
yeah,
played sports. You know,
yeah,
it's one of those things like you win a Pee Wee championship, or you win a state championship, and that high that you get from the accomplishment, it
yeah,
felt the same way. And I said, oh, we live for this. You know, that's why all of
yeah.
our kids play football. Why all of our kids compete in track. They're
Mm-hmm.
looking to win and prove themselves. And this is a play. If we approach it correctly, you know, if they have good ideas, they'll be able to compete, and all we have to do is just frame it in a way that makes sense. So how we're introducing it, you know, some of the media tactics we're going to use to show it off, and how we're going to celebrate the winners, we're hoping to attract more people like that.
Yeah, I definitely understand that feeling when you win a pitch competition or win something, and it, you know, it helps validate, you know, that you're on the right track. So Carlos wants some connection information. I guess uh, I
Yeah,
can
I'm
look up
trying.
your LinkedIn profile, or you
Yeah,
want to.
that'll be I think the best way, because I'm really active on LinkedIn now. It's my favorite toy now.
Okay,
Yeah.
fantastic. I can see why, because I think that's a good way with your startup, because that's all about skills and credentialing, you know, and getting those things. So like so, kind of, what's your strategy, go to market strategy for that? for your product or service for the notary thing?
So we're definitely running with a SaaS model, and just being quite honest, I'm definitely new to this. Most of my endeavors were in the traditional entrepreneurial solve a problem, you know, get the product together and just, go to market. So now I'm taking the time to understand the best way to operate the SaaS model,
Okay.
looking for other models that were close, learning all the terminologies. I've never heard of a cap table before I started competing in these type of things. Um,
Yeah. So
uh,
I'll cut you off here just for a second. So
yeah,
so like so so I mentioned that LinkedIn, it's all about, that they have the Microsoft Learning there. You getting those, so those certificates. The Google has this stuff where you're getting, folks are getting these certificates for completing
right.
training, and um, and IBM, everybody, all these, there's certificates everywhere. But who is your target customer that pays something? So who actually, how do you make money with what you're doing?
Okay, so the overall idea in the grand scheme of things, and we want to whittle it down to get it, nailed to a perfect model. But it would be a SaaS for the companies to manage. And with blockchain, we'll utilize a blockchain with very cheap transactional costs. Most likely it'll be on the Ethereum network, one of their layer twos, but we're finalizing that in the next couple of months who we want to
Okay.
go with.
So let me see if I understand. So so this is, so your product or service is a way that companies can keep track of the skills and certification that their employees have, or the people they recruit.
Yeah, and what happens is, I know each company is different and their needs are
Hmm.
different. So it'll be a model where they can tailor it to, like, if there's less important documents that they feel like work for the model. We want to kind of have the product open to where they can kind of change it up a little
Hmm.
bit to be tailored to their needs. But yeah, specifically, for the MVP, we're starting in an industry we're familiar with,
Okay.
and we know the importance of just the costs from the OSHA fines, and then just the paper cost for managing all these things.
Yeah, so let me explain something to
Mhm.
you. It's kind of ironic that you worked for Florida Power and Light before. So literally, and I don't know if you realize this, we had Danielle on a month or two ago, and she's over their 35 Muse program. But
Wow,
basically, what I learned from her and the guy who actually works with the founders, that they'll take you at the idea stage.
really?
Yep. you
Sounds
see
good,
what
man.
you see what I'm saying? So
Right.
so so and I think you would be a perfect candidate because you understand, you learned this from working with them, right? Working
Yeah,
for them.
and I feel like I have so much to offer for things that I know have been not necessarily problems, because they're industry wide, and it's
Hmm.
more so not problems but adjustments that can be made with this new technology that can save money. Another product we're working on is related to switching on the grid, and how that can prevent a lot more energy. I mean, not a lot less injuries, and a lot less load drops based on some of the protocol we're going to develop around that. And
Yeah.
I've worked with this for years, so I know it's needed. So it's kind of
Mhm.
like a sure shot. And I think that's going to be my wheelhouse for around until I get deeper into the technology and I can get a little bit more hands on with data, AI,
Yeah.
and then I can branch
Yeah.
out from there.
Yeah. So when I asked what your go to market strategy was, I was kind of referring to, like, so once you kind of know who your customer is, and then you kind of target, those, um, you partner with those companies, or you work on those verticals, and just kind of focus on that, and the kind of get you in. But I think, you know um, and you're definitely going to be a good candidate to go through the lean stack training and the startup science stuff, and because you'll be able to learn all the stuff you need to articulate and learn a go-to-market strategy and all of that stuff. Um, but 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 so you sometimes you have to kind of see where the opportunity. So what you told me was, and told us here tonight, was that you actually learned this from working at Florida Power and Light on your job.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So who's the perfect candidate for your first customer?
You know what? And it just makes sense, and it'll feel like home. It's a place where like my friends are like family there. If you mention the
Yeah.
lineman and they're from South Florida, it's probably a 60-70% chance I know them. So it's
Okay.
like it only makes sense to go back to where you gained most of your knowledge. And I recently read what is it how to be so good they can't ignore you. And
Mhm.
he really harped on why walk away from the skills and the career capital you've gained that
Yes.
gives you the leverage. You just iterate around that. And that
You
was
know.
big. That and Lean Startup were the two most important books I think recently on
Yeah.
how I'm going to take my approach.
Well, see, and that's what we try to communicate to founders. They say I'm not technical. Like so, one of the founders we had in our launch program, Sandra Donaldson, and so she literally so the company she used to work for, she actually helped them create a system that based on her expertise. And so she left the company and started her own company and training people to get certified in that field. And then the company that was contracting to provide the services that the place she worked for, they're actually leeching her knowledge for to build a product using her
Right.
knowledge. You see, and the idea is what she finally done on her. That's what she should be building.
Yeah, and I think outside of my efforts as far as building products, being more of an evangelist and an educator, I want to teach companies how to approach people with ideas. A lot of times we sign these contracts and we wouldn't be able to create these products without handing them over, and we're leaving so much innovation on the table for some really smart people. Like I've met, linemen that I feel are like geniuses as
Yeah,
well as any scientist or any engineer, and they know the ins and out. And those are the people who I got my skills from because they taught me the
yeah,
nuance of the work. And if you scare them off by them not thinking that they would be able to capitalize off of their idea, we're just leaving millions of products on the table. So
yeah,
even that approach, like how can you draw innovation out? Do you do hackathons in-house and then, say, we're going to partner with you and we're going to make sure that you're going to be a part of this process and it's going to be profitable for you as well, but we'll help nurture you and do that kind of deal. At least it's a start,
yeah.
So I mean, hopefully that's how
Well,
things turn out for you.
and this is what you know, if you're a worker, let's say you out there doing the work, you're doing these things that need to be automated. So you're literally the expert on what needs to be done, and that's what Black people don't realize. That if you're out there doing the day-to-day work, you have the knowledge of what's wrong and the expertise to actually do it. That's what you look and see where the opportunity is in your knowledge, and value that knowledge, and learn what it takes to be a founder. You don't have to jump right in immediately. Just pay attention, and then you'll see the way to get there and capitalize on it. And the last thing I'll say about that is folks don't really understand is like when you realize that the AI stuff is about capturing knowledge from people. If you're an expert on something, the number one thing that your company is going to be trying to do is capture that knowledge in the form of AI.
Right.
So the big question was uh, how do you monetize that?
Yeah. It's as it develops and we see what the needs are, because again, going by the model, now the companies are the customers. So I don't want to go and say I'm going to change the whole
Oh
world.
no,
And they
no,
might,
no. Yeah, I was literally thinking as an individual,
yeah,
if you have certain expertise and then you capture that expertise in an AI model, then so I'm saying how do you that knowledge is based on your expertise.
yeah, and it's really all it's about. Like I would say the best teams, if I had to go back in time and create a team inside of the company, it would have been me, a very knowledgeable engineer, a
Mhm.
supervisor who understood management, and an IT guy that can code. And we
Yeah.
could have probably changed so much if everybody was up to par. But I fought tooth and nail as a union person to be able to take Six Sigma, just because I had so much time, and I'm like, I really want to learn this stuff, and I wanted it to transition into management or labor relations on
Hmm.
the company side, because you get more money.
Yeah.
It's not a negotiated thing. You can actually get bonuses and things. So that was my goal. But when I took Six Sigma, that was the game changer. Now I had an efficient process to solve problems, seeing what problems and how to prioritize them. And I think once I did it, a couple more people took it, and it's like, look, that's usually what you wouldn't need. You wouldn't need that as a lineman or somebody working on the trucks. But what I was able to do with that process, I was creating algorithms before I knew what they were,
Yeah.
based on where the injuries were and how to plot where most injuries happen. And I didn't have a computer. I had pins and a map, and I'm like, well, most of the accidents are close to the yard, so maybe we get a little lax when we're coming and going, and just coming up with that. And then here we are in 2020, me realizing that was an algorithm that I was trying to create. So some of the AI is going to just come from the knowledge and the data that they would be able to
Yeah.
get and aggregate and see what the trends are. Like with Notary, you would be able to see what the trends are, what employees are enjoying learning, or what directions they're going in, how you can make adjustments.
So like,
um
yeah. So can you just walk us through and how whoever the customer is would actually use Notary?
Yep. Pretty much. So, in the ideal world, the company would be my first customer, and they would onboard you and create a wallet for you as a way for you to keep all of your credentials.
Okay.
We'll create the software system to manage all of these credentials and make sure nothing goes out of date. But with that wallet, you would be able to accumulate and create your resume based off of proof from the history of work.
Hmm.
And you don't have to always have it active, because we're always pretty private with our data when we can be, and that's the beauty of blockchain. So I'm making it to where you can go active or go live when you want your data to be available for recruiters to find you. Or we're still tweaking those models, because we're going to have to talk to people and say what do they want exposed, what don't they want exposed. So these kind of enterprise apps, they won't be as decentralized as people will want them to be, as far as like the gaming and the art. But it's going to be have to be a healthy balance, because if you're a doctor, I need to make sure you're a doctor, and you can't have an NFT as your picture. I need to know who's working on my body. So and then just leveraging that using AI and finding the trends and the patterns of not only who would be a great fit for the job, which would be obvious, but whose soft skills and other hard skills will make them good for roles if there is nobody available. And I think that's what's going to be the powerful part on the back end, being able to shop that to a LinkedIn, or one of these hiring apps like Monster, or maybe we do it ourselves. It depends on how
Yeah.
much work
Oh
it
yeah,
takes.
and that's kind of what I was talking about. The go-to-market strategy is who these companies you're going to align with in order to go on start generating revenue. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
So my kind of advice to you is definitely get in that lean stack training, and make sure your business model is scalable, and then also do the startup science thing, so you learn all the terms, how to communicate with the folks to kind of move forward. But in your case, and since you're down in Miami, and their pro and the FPL 35 News program is for folks, who want you to be down there, in there, and so yeah, so it's definitely a good example if you can articulate um, what you do ahead of time. And so one of the strategies that founders use, and I don't know if our founders in the audience realize this. So whenever there's an accelerator program or some out there, some opportunity, the folks who run that, they always have office hours before that, so you can actually learn what they're looking for.
Right.
Yeah, and so if you participate in all these things and ask questions, you can put a better application in, and so
Yeah.
that's one of the strategies. So like one of the founders, Brandon Storms, he I'm not sure if he's finished. He's probably finished with the Techstars thing up in Atlanta, and but anyway, he started talking to them, back in earlier a year ago, and the program didn't start until the summer.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah, and so that it's not, you don't just wait till the last minute to do these. You have to have a strategy just to kind of move forward. I hope there are some more questions out there. Uh, let's see a few things in the chat because we're getting close here. Um, so the so what so your idea about the hackathon stuff. Well, let me make sure you understand one other thing when you're pitching. So like so when I say walk me through how somebody would use your product or service, that's
Mhm.
in the pitch. That's called a demo.
Right. Okay. See.
You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And so
That's
and
why
you
I'm hearing this.
yeah, yeah, and so you helping the audience and the judges understand how your product would be used. Yeah,
Okay.
and
So
that's called a demo.
right.
That's yeah, and so like what a lot of founders they struggle with. When they see that thing that says well, when part of after you describe what your solution is, then you have to the demo how somebody would use it. But you just walk, you say, well, for FPL would on board with our application, and then they would use it to you know to credential their employees and or whatever. You see what I'm saying? So you just
Right.
walk through how we use it because what in a pitch, all the audience or the judges are they just want to know how you make money and how the customers acquire your product and how they would use it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I felt like definitely coming on this journey and being at this age. I'm 34 now, and I can
Hmm.
remember how I was 10 years ago, and just more bullheaded and just wanted to push through. But at this point in my life, I think I learned a little bit more patience and just being a little bit more humble. I guess that life humbles you as you get a little older and you start
Yeah.
to learn how to approach things. And I just been okay with just learning. Every meeting I've had some people offer, to fund me already. And I was just being honest and saying, like, I need to get more information to be comfortable with making the decisions, not procrastinating, but to be, I think it's important for the investors to see that the founder can make sound decisions. And starting off with the truth and saying, hey, I might need some help here, or I might need a little bit of time. It's a great product on the problem solving end, but I need to know the mechanics of how this industry works and how can I apply this best.
Yeah. So like I'm not sure what question this but Carmen is referring to. If you think he's referring to your hackathon, or he's referring to what we're trying to do with Blacks in Technology.
Yeah, I think so. It's your program. I
Okay.
think so. How can we come in as founders, a part of it, and
Okay. Gotcha.
the
Yeah. So
process?
like I think we'll start off answering. So tell the audience what BIT is. Can you do that?
Okay. Yeah. Bit is Blacks in Technology. It's a foundation of I think blacks coming into tech, learning about tech, not just nationally but international. I think we have chapters in Ghana, Ethiopia, I think South America as well. Or I'm not sure. I'm still new, so
Yeah.
I'm learning everybody, meeting everybody. Last night was my first leadership meeting, but I love the fact that bit brings people together. It's not just for professional development. and to network themselves, but they take into account the social part. And we grow stronger together, and we can get better ideas as we become closer socially, because as humans we should be together and we can feed off of each other. So Carmen and Dennis, they've been great to me. They've helped me not only find more resources for multiple things that I need, but now I'm inside the network. Now I'm being able to reach out to members who have also have great things to provide. So I'm looking forward to helping Bit get a little more established in the Miami community. They have a great member. I think we have 200 members in Miami. So it's a good basis for a chapter. But now I want to bring in some of our community to kind of learn and take advantage of the mentorship that Bit can provide. Because I think Bit is huge on mentorship, and I'm huge on education. So that's where we align, definitely.
Yeah. So like I just pulled up the website. I'm going to share my screen again so people can kind of understand what Bit is. And so how much does it cost to become a member of Bit?
It's very expensive, man. It costs you your time. That's it, just your time. There's no fees associated. There's a remarkable amount of training programs that just come with the free Bit membership. Even last November, Bit had tickets to see Black Panther for the membership. So it's definitely a mix of everything. You get the social elements, you get the parties, the networking events, but you also get training on coding. You get training on Udacity. We just spoke about Udacity last night.
Oh yeah.
Brain,
So
yeah,
that Udacity thing is they're going to do like 3 cohorts, and I don't remember how much Udacity for those things to do, but that's you as a member you can actually apply to get in one of those cohorts, and those cohorts are going to have like what they said, like 800 or 900 people now.
yeah. I think there were $4,000 a piece as well. So
Wow,
that's
wow.
that's a pretty penny. Where of course, it's investing in yourself is priceless, but it's good to kind of save that and just get the free education being a part of
Yeah.
a organization.
And I understand this, they're going to establish a new cohort for this as well. So that's like got a $15,000 value right
Yes,
there.
those are cool. Those are going to be in person in Miami, so that's the only thing different about those.
Yeah.
But
So yeah.
we're going to be a lot more hands-on with the students who are going to need mentorship, because it's a 12-week program. It's very rigorous, but they're almost promised a job after, just for being a part of Bit. Some of the marketing we're going to do for them, and BrainStation alone has a 90% retention rate. I mean, not retention rate, but employing rate. So that's great odds for a 12-week program.
Yeah, so here as a Bit member, you can actually go through these actual training programs right here. It actually either worth more than $300. And
Exactly.
yeah, so but yeah, so these are free things that you can get as a and so they also like the LinkedIn learning. So all the stuff from LinkedIn learning, and you can actually you know these type things here you can actually get for free as well. And so like for what I recommend that all founders um, um, you know go ahead and sign up for to be a, a, a bit I mean a member of Bit. And so let me just put the link in as blacks in technology .org .net. Looks like it's .net. So let me just get this put this in the thing so people will have it. And I recommend it because there's just so many free things. And for those people that are here in Pensacola, we just launched a chapter here, so we'll have a kickoff meeting sometime soon for here, and and to move things forward. And so so with the Startup on the Blocks program, we for 2023, what we're doing is we're trying to partner with different organizations, and because like and just make sure this training is available all over the world, and they can leverage the resources we've put together here at Startup on the Blocks, and get more Black people trained in these best practices for building a startup. And Ron Moore, without a notice, he's been trying to get us to also partner with NESB, and so we'll be looking, to do that stuff as well. And we're also trying to increase our partnership with FPL, because they have a $30 million program for Black businesses here in Florida, and they're offering a lot of services as well. So that's really what our strategy is to kind of expand our services to make sure more folks have access to these services. And the other thing that we're doing that's kind of unique is there are a lot of workforce programs out there, and I didn't even scroll down on the Blacks in Technology Foundation. So they also have apprenticeship programs that they've partnered with that the members can actually apply for. So as a founder, you can become a member, and you can get your people that want to get training, or people, and let them take advantage of these programs and let them use some of that skills with your company. So what we do at the Kukua Institute is we leverage these workforce programs to we have 3 employees now that are through workforce programs that we don't pay anything for, and that's what we're trying to get founders to understand, that these programs exist and they can actually leverage them, to kind of grow their startups. And so it's good to be connected. And so the Blacks in Technology definitely is a good one. Let me go back and see what I missed here. Purcell had a question.
Yeah, I think he was asking what was our pre-revenue, and yes, I'm pre-revenue. I'm chock full of ideas and learning how to execute them very well. So that's why I'm here.
Yeah, yeah. So what I tell people, it doesn't matter what stage you are on the journey. There, as long as you can describe what you're building and how you make money, you can get help and you can actually get funding. So like I think my startup, we won, like over $100,000 in cash and stuff before we became started generating revenue. And so that's what people, it's hard that's part of that mindset you have to do, is that you have to realize these programs out there for all these different stages, and from the idea stage, the concept stage, the MVP stage, these programs exist to help you get going. And like I was saying earlier today when we were chatting, when you look at that, corporate America has put up around $50 billion for minority businesses and Black-owned businesses to kind of move forward since George Floyd and COVID. And most of that money is behind this wall of being able to pitch your idea clearly and concisely.
Yeah, or just people not having enough confidence to even step up and start trying, and I understand why that's a barrier, because it's going the road less traveled for us, and the whole Silicon Valley aspect. Luckily, I'm experiencing now because I'm in Miami, but it never even crossed my mind to try a business in this manner.
Yeah,
So
yeah. And Carmen was saying about the Blacks in Technology that they did 5,000 scholarships last year.
yes.
Yeah, and so
Amazing.
yeah, career fairs, and so you said you went to the last BitCon in Orlando.
Mhm.
Tell us about that.
Well, VidCon was amazing. It was a mixture of social movements, some hardcore technical career placement. They had a career fair. They even had a Madden tournament at the end. So it was just all encompassing. And I think that made me feel a lot more comfortable because it was just a little bit of everything. I cannot remember the speaker's name, but he was talking about founders and how we should approach our businesses in the small room. So the videos should be coming out soon. So I'm looking forward to going re-engaging with that. I'm definitely interested in what's going to be coming through the pipeline with the infrastructure bill, being that I have a background in energy, so renewables and services on the grid. That's also ways we can create opportunities. In my mind, I'm not trying to hit a home run. It's like, if the average black family, let's say for a round number is $30,000, like how can we get that to $60,000, then get that to 70,000 and 80,000, then the kids can go to college or they have less stress, and it'll take a couple of generations, or maybe not, maybe the technology will speed things up, but it's taking a one step at a time approach, and just making sure we just don't utilize this technology to create pictures or to do music. And I've been in the music and entertainment for a very long time, so I'm going to circle back at some point once I get a little bit more capital and in a better space. But right now, let's not just focus on being entertainers. Let's go attack some of these industries that we've kind of dominated. Like here in Miami, the longshoremen are majority black. The
Mhm.
male force is majority black. I think we have the highest amount of linemen focused in one location, to where I've worked in an all black yard and I've traveled around. I don't think it's too many places outside of Africa where you have that many black utility workers. So we have a lot of career capital. We just have to get in the mindset of how can we use this to solve problems and create these new products. I see a question on there. What is your so yeah, I've had a very interesting life. So I did rapping for a very long time. A lot of underground music helped establish the Miami underground scene here. My first 3-track demo. That sounds a little old and dated because everything's streaming now. But it was I was discovered by Rick Ross like right before he took off. So I've always had like relationships with the Miami artists, and I've traveled, did South by Southwest, been on the West Coast, been up north, and it was fun. It's just Miami's a very weird place where we don't have like a lot of resources and a lot of industries to where we can finally turn that key and get something really going. And with Clubhouse, I saw that there's a lot of other black populations like Chicago, Atlanta, LA, that people are actually doing it. So I still have hope that it can be done. We just more so needed the help. So that got me iterating before I knew what it was. So I went from music. As I got a little bit older, I said, well, let me put the shows together because I got a little bit more of a business background, and let me help people manage their books and their strategy and their approach, and just started scaling shows and events up and helping people with their go-to-market strategy. So I think I really always wanted to be a businessman. It's just music was my way to get in.
Yeah. We have a couple of founders. That Ty, he's actually in the music industry, and so he represents artists and stuff, and he's also in the NFT space. And then Quinn, bro, he's got a product coming out called the Know, where it's a platform to manage um, uh, and book artists, and handles all the payments and stuff like that as well.
Yep.
So yeah, so definitely a good community for you all to collaborate in, and et cetera.
Yeah,
So
for
yeah,
sure. If you can connect with me, because I am not off from doing any music related projects or just being involved some kind of way. This is Miami. We still have Art Basel. We still have all these music festivals, and there's some cool things we could do with NFTs to kind of get artists a little bit more money.
yeah,
If they're going to put the elbow grease behind it, if you will. Since streaming isn't so profitable now.
yeah. All righty. So you got any parting thoughts? Let's see. Is this another question here? Um,
Yeah, you have to. I mean, as somebody on the come up, I had more fame outside of the city than I had at first for a little while. So, that made me have to get creative. And I used to print my own physicals and package them with t-shirts and merch packages way back in the days before it became popular now with streaming, because I knew it well. If I have a 500 to 1,000 fans and I have a $10 package, that's not bad, cash flow or revenue. And then I just started to like help others figure that out and teach. And then how can we make it cooler? Well, let's do some uh, anything. You can just get creative. So that was just my approach. Just always just trying to take the creative approach. I hate just doing the boring, normal thing to do. So it was always how can you stand out, not just with your music or your talent, but with your actions and your approach as well.
So from your journey so far, do you have any parting words you want to share with the founders in the audience?
No, I mean, just I just want everybody to stay intentional with the help we provide for the youth or people trying to onboard. Be patient. We really need this as a people all together. There's two outcomes right now. We fall behind, and then there's a bigger wealth gap, or we do this the right way and we decrease the wealth gap and kind of become more important as a community here.
Yeah,
And that's the bigger picture when you can get people not instantly, but in a short amount of time, $30,000 to $40,000 more in their career. Their buying power, what they're able to do with their money, changes drastically, and then that next generation will see the real benefit. So if we could just stay very intentional these next 10 years, 15 years on how we approach this, and just be all everybody help somebody, you know.
that's and I really appreciate the fact that you're doing your startup, but you're also looking to give back to kind of help other founders get started in the ecosystem, and I think that's a good consciousness thing. It's all right for your company to make money, but there's also opportunities for other people to make money. So what can we all do to help each other out and grow? Like you said, grow the wealth in the community. So like for startup on the blocks, I want to make sure everybody understands. So we switched from doing the hopping stage. Hopping split out their the way they do things, and so we love their networking part, so we're still using their networking piece. But and the irony is they own this platform we're using here, StreamYard as well, and so but so we're using the StreamYard platform to so you you need to look out for the link, the StreamYard link for each event, and also the networking link for each event. It's like even when we were on Hopin, you had to register for Hopin, and then once you got in, you had to click the networking thing. So clicking, going from the networking thing to the stage, you still had to click. This so just do the same thing, but just use two different links, and it works fine, because it is important to network one on one, and meet people and learn and build relationships. And so what I noticed tonight, uh, Dantrell, the people want to connect with you, but so that's what we do the networking thing for, to help people so that you can meet people and connect. And we just have to get in the habit of doing that. And the Hoffman platform is still the only platform I found that you can network one on one, just like you and I are talking now. It allows you to network one on one, just like that for 5 minutes, and just get to know each other, and start connect and start building a relationship. So and we'll put up a landing page where we'll have all the links to upcoming events. And I guess also I want to make sure people don't forget about a newsletter, that we always put the links in our newsletter. And I think when I sent out some of the texts today about the event, I may have got the links mixed up, but it's still not too hard to figure out. But we just appreciate everything and the hard work everybody's doing out there. We appreciate you all participating and engaging. So 2023 is the time, all your founders, you need to be trying to figure out how to get to the next level, and leverage some of these resources out there to do that. Thank you, and we'll see you all next week. And we have office hours this weekend, of course. Bye-bye. See you all next time.